everything's rolling, so we can kind of just go from here if you want.
Yeah, the intro gets edited in afterwards, so.
Okay.
So you guys
Great.
are
Awesome.
called the Reconnected, right?
Yeah.
We're called the Reconnected, and we just wrote, our book is called Reconnected Parenting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, cool. So how did that come about? Like, how did you guys meet and kind of collaborate on creating something like the Reconnected?
Ooh, do you want to go, Emma?
Yeah, well, we were both living in the Blue Mountains in Australia,
Nice.
and I had met Eleanor, and we'd talked about that we were both really into breath work. I was studying at the time to become a breath worker. Eleanor had been doing it for like 12 to 15 years at that point. We were just having lots of cool conversation. We loved talking about conscious parenting, breath work. And at the time, Eleanor was a play therapist in the Blue Mountains, and she invited my friends and I to a connected play session where she was going to teach us the play skills that play therapists are using in the play therapy room, and she wanted to teach the local parents. And my friends and I were both pregnant with our second children. So we all had one, and we were just about to have our second. And it was such life-changing information for me because I really understood play. I could see that play was really important. But the way that Eleanor described it and what we were being taught, I was like, why is this information just for play therapists? Like, why do you have to get to a point where you have to take your child to a play therapist session in order to get them to resolve things and heal? And my brain was just really ticking over about it because what I was experiencing through breathwork, which was this real integration of my life and my past. And then Eleanor showing me that actually children can do this very early on through play, and that you shouldn't really have to get to your 20s and 30s in order to heal yourself. And so we just started to talk about it. And then a while later, Eleanor reached out to me and she said, hey, I've got an idea for Reconnected Parenting, this program, and do you want to get involved in it? And that's where it started. And it started out very simple. It was a PDF document in a private Facebook group. So it was very minimal. But we had 100 people sign up, and the ball just started rolling from there. And we've gone on to teach hundreds of thousands of families now. And we have our own app. We're published by Hay House. And we just have this growing movement of parents who are really into actually doing the work.
How long ago was that?
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. Emma and I met probably in 2016 or so. And then the first round of Reconnected Parenting was 2019. And actually, it's funny, like we had the conversation at the end of 2018, and then we took a bit of time like developing the program. But around July in 2019, we had this sense like it's not finished, but it's urgent that we do it now. And it meant that we had done 2 enrollments of Reconnected Parenting just as everyone went into lockdown. And, lockdown was intense for families with young kids because all of their connection and regular routines and play groups and friendships and things like that just went away. So a lot of parents were looking for community online. And also a lot of parents were like, there was a real health, like not just parents, but like a lot of people picked up positive habits during that period of time. So Reconnected Parenting, it just was that kind of intuitive gut, like now we have to do it now. And I think back to that point, if we hadn't have listened to that ping, like the timing was just spot on. And I have a feeling like a lot of things happened during that period of time. In terms of, even breath work had this huge explosion around like people in a very mainstream sense in the last 5 years now know what breath work is. Whereas, when I first started in 2004, it was the most whack, weird thing you could be doing. You couldn't talk to anyone about it. So I just think there's like this collective readiness for information like this, and the Reconnected, we just was a real right place, right time kind of situation in the last 5 years or so. Yeah.
It's cool. Like 5 years isn't a long time, but when you look back on it, it feels like a while ago now, because we started about 5 years ago too. And it's amazing how quick your life can change in, whatever you were doing before, how all of a sudden, and now you'd have this immense, like, I've said it to people before, it's almost like back when I was in the party days, like a drug. There's no better drug than purposeful work, hey? Like when you got that, like that North Star, where like, oh, this is what I'm creating in the world, and I know I'm set for life to do this. Instead of being in limbo and like not really knowing what you want to do. And it's cool because sometimes being a mother, which is bloody the most important job in the world, just about, right? Sometimes you don't get to go down that path. You just be not just, but the mother, and then you don't get to paint the world, with your ideas. So it's really cool that seeing you guys still obviously doing that side of thing, but still entering like, all right, what else am I going to give to the world, and in turn help millions of families out there, It's cool. It's such a gift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's a blessing. Like imagine like waking up every day and you just feel like you're looking forward to the next thing that you're going to do all the time. It feels like, oh, I can't wait to get to that. And you've got like the drive is indescribable, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what's funny? Like Emma and I both came from families that were pretty counter to the culture of where there's traditional like gender roles. Like both of us came from families where the mother was not only the caregiver but also the main person, the main breadwinner, for want of a better word, or like had a career that was like, okay, it's mum's career, everyone's got to get behind mum's career. So in my family now, like it feels like a real pivot from how things are usually done, in terms of like my whole family just fully gets behind the Reconnected.
Cool.
Everyone just knows, like, this is a good thing. This is like when we're on a holiday, for example, if I can't go on a day because I'm doing a bit of work or getting other things done, like the family have so much grace around it, but also so much celebration around it. And I think like there's just, I think gone are the days where that, women, where I don't know, it's just like we can have it all.
Yeah, totally.
Have it all.
We've shifted. When we started the Reconnected, I was working just to try and get like the rest of the income. My partner was working a lot. He was working in a trade. We were really struggling. We didn't even have the $1,500 that it costs to really start a business, like to get the certain things we can get a logo and stuff. So we really just had to make it happen on the bare most minimum. And 5 years ago I was really struggling to get from paycheck to paycheck, and now like being able to host our incredible app, have hundreds of thousands of people, and then also live the life that we really want to live, traveling all over the world. It's crazy, but it hasn't come without a lot of grit. Like we have had to go all in on business. Like we've had to go all in on the vision, and there's been moments where it's felt wobbly and it's felt hard, and we've just had to really like get the willingness to move through it.
Yeah, I think
it's an epic experience.
It's important to, even when it gets hard or even when it feels like it's not working or anything like that, to always keep putting the grind in, because I feel like a lot of businesses fail when you think that like energy works in such a different way than like if you don't feel like you've got momentum at the moment, as long as you keep pouring energy into studying or trying to get better or anything like that. Like we're such big believers in just like putting the energy in no matter what, and it always comes back eventually. But you can see in a lot of other businesses and stuff, just from what I've seen, like people will quit because they're like, oh, it didn't work. If you have that like
Yeah.
no quit mentality, it's just like
We
it's
have
always
a
going to work. It's just when,
non-negotiable
yeah.
where like it succeeds or it succeeds, like that's it. And I think it's interesting with like the mother, feminine, masculine conversation, like because it does take like a real sense of mastery. I have 5 kids under the age of 11.
Wow.
So I've got twins that are 2 years old. So I, for a large part, am in my femininity. Like I'm still breastfeeding my twins. I have to be with them all day and do all the things, but there is a real masculine drive for me where I will get up at 3:30 a.m. and teach something at 4 a.m. so that I can be with my kids to take them where I need to go. Like, but there isn't this I don't feel conflicted about it. It's like I just know what I want to create in the world. The feedback that we get from the families who are transforming their lives, just the massive wins that are happening in our community. It's like just a non-negotiable. I'm like, I am so happy to have less sleep to get this out into the world.
Yeah, well, what you're explaining is like it's there's so much love in it that there's no labor. So the labor feels like it's like it doesn't feel like work, and that's like we're like that as well, because you love what you do and you know it's like connecting with the universe's like role of helping people. It's just like it's like the universe just gives you the energy you need to push through.
Really
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. And like because it's what Paul talks about, labor or love. Like a mother will be a mother, doesn't matter how hard it gets, because it's the bottom line, she has to do it. I remember when Matt Walden was talking about there was a Red Cross refuge, maybe it was like Haiti or something during it, and there was something like, was it 800 or 8,000 mothers, and under all that stress, right? He goes, think about, how many kids had to get breastfed? And he goes, 8,000. There was 8,000 mothers and 8,000 kids had to get breastfed. Whether they were stressed or not, they had to get it done, because there was no care then. There was no, maybe formulas or anything. They couldn't get there. And that's such a lesson to me. Like, well, there's this like, that's almost dropping into your masculine for the feminine. Like, okay, this is the bottom line. There's no other option. I have to do this, and then it gets done. So it's nice. It's balanced, right? Yin yang. And it's really cool. And once the ball's rolling, there's no stopping it. Once you see that, okay, once I continue with this, it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get more improved and more sharp. Then it's just so enjoyable, And then your soul, you get these little ideas from your soul that you're listening to something and you're like, all right, I got to move that way. I got to move that way. And it's never ending.
But yeah, isn't it funny? Like I picked up on earlier how you were talking about business. Like, isn't business a big thing? It's like there's so many moving parts, and I'd guess that you guys are at that point now where you're kind of growing and growing and growing, and you're like, fuck, all right, like now there's all these moving parts. Maybe I need to learn more about business, and it just takes this whole nother
Diary of a CEO podcast every week.
It's just seriously been like, it's the real deep work, that's like for the past 5 years, like because I studied to be a breath worker. Eleanor was working in counseling, play therapy, and when I studied to be a breath worker, I wasn't thinking at the time, oh, I need to get really good at business. I was just like, I'm in love with breath work. Breath work is changing my life. I'm having all of these ahas, da 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 da. And then I was given this vision, feeling that I wanted to impact millions of people. And it's like, well, what comes with that? That actually now I'm obsessed with marketing, business, finances,
so cool.
and it has been the biggest shadow work I've ever done because it's crazy the amount of blocks and inhibitions and limited beliefs that I've carried around those particular things. And it's a huge part of the work. And we're really walking the talk when we're doing this work with parents, because breath work is something that can completely change your life and liberate you in a way where you want to move forward. And it's what we have to do in business all the time. It's like the more that it grows. I had this really obvious feeling one day. I was at my house and my kids were playing and I was doing the dishes. And I was like, I could feel like aurically I was holding the family. And I was like, okay, I've got my family here. And then I was like, oh, and then I have the employees. And then I have the 100,000 people in the app. Like I could feel my energetic body. I was like, wow, it's so crazy the capacity that we have to hold now. Like it's not just this new thing. And Eleanor and I have been saying it a lot recently, like the Reconnected isn't just us anymore. Like it's actually, it means a lot to a lot of people. Like we have like 26 members on the team, 35 sometimes, and even to them, it is an extremely important part of their life and their mission. And then that, like, even the people that are in the community, we have people who started in the Facebook group PDF, and they're still with us moving along. Like it's a huge part of their lives as well. So yeah, it's surreal.
Amazing. What are some of the principles that you teach, like from kind of like the start? What are some of the principles that you really like try and give people?
Maybe the first thing that comes to mind is around this idea that most of us are operating from like habitual, unconscious, predetermined patterns that were formed when we were little, in response and in reaction to the things that were happening around us. And that's kind of how we decide who we are, what other people are going to be like, what life is like, what's possible for us. And those things kind of get held in our nervous system. They become the perception, like they're our lens of perception. So we filter everything through what we've decided in the past. And because it's so habitual and because it's so unconscious, for so many of us, we get to this point where it's like, that's just how life is, until or unless we have some type of crisis that means we're forced to face some type of repeating pattern that we can't get out of. Or like nowadays, I feel like I'm seeing a lot more people who are just realizing, like, I didn't choose to create my life like this. I've just done what I thought was expected of me based off of what I've absorbed in the past. And so the first step is becoming intentional. So the first step, and probably the first question, is really just asking ourselves, well, how would I prefer my life to be going? Because that question is creative rather than reactive. And it's the question that just takes us straight away out of being unconscious, habitual, automatic, and into, open to this idea that maybe I can decide how my life goes. And then probably the second would be that the breath is this phenomenal choice point. It's the part of our autonomic nervous system that can be unconscious, automatic, habitual, but it also can be conscious and intentional. And so it becomes this doorway, or it is this doorway into having a place where we can consciously experience or release or review all of the unconscious habitual ways that we've been relating to life. So once we connect with an intention and then have an understanding of like how to use our breath, and not like box breathing, calm breathing, even functional breathing, even though, yes, it's epic because obviously all these restrictions in our breathing mechanisms are linked to restrictions in our emotions and mind and spirit too, of course. But just through self-awareness, like being aware of why we do what we do, why we breathe the way we breathe, it's like this doorway into our deep unconscious, subconscious relationship to life, and being the first kind of step towards like really creating life to go the way that we intend for it to go. So it's like a small step, but then it's also the entire model, because you can just go like so deep forever until, you know, your life has been, you look around your life like Emma and I do now, and a lot of people at the Reconnected, especially those who've been around for years, is you wind up looking at your life and going, yeah, this is this life is my choice. I've created it like this. This is how I intend for it to go. I love everything I do. Of course, there's ups and downs, but you've got the tools, so it's not so much that you get thrown by it. Yeah.
Nice.
It's very powerful.
And is that what you mean by, you said at the start, conscious parenting relative to unconscious parenting? So is unconscious parenting just basically doing what you said then, just being in your pattern and not being aware of your energy and just...
Do you guys have kids? Just curious.
No.
Oh.
It's a dog.
Do you have friends who have kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like having kids is a bit like having a business. Like that's how I might relate to it for you. It's like, you know how when you decide to do something, then like all of the like blocks or limitations towards doing it the way you want to do it are just very apparent, you know. So like in business for me, it was like, I want to impact heaps of people. Oh, let's do a course. Oh, hang on. Now I feel really shy about showing up on camera.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a block that comes up. Well, kids are like, I can only think of steroids, even though it's just a positive like metaphor, but like kids are like self-growth on steroids. You have kids and you have instantly this mirror to your own experience, and kids will mirror back to you all of your unresolved, unintegrated stuff. And no one tells you this before you have kids. You just have kids, and then you're just in this confront of your own stuff. Like I always tell this story at the Reconnected. I was like quite young when my kids were born. My kids are in their early 20s now.
Awesome.
So I was 20 myself when my eldest daughter was born. And by the time I was 22 or 23-ish, I had a toddler and a baby who was like starting to stand up and stuff. And I found parenting super easy when my kids were really young and in the full baby stage. But then when he started to try and stand up, she was like this fiery redhead. She's got curly red hair. She's like this full-on strong-willed, like firecracker kind of child. And she would come running from anywhere in the house just to fully push him over so he couldn't stand up. And I was so angry. Like I just could not keep it together in that moment. I was like raging. I felt so protective of the baby. I felt like she was the worst. Like I just thought, I can't believe you're doing this. I felt like she should know better, all these feelings. And it's like, where is all that coming from? And doesn't matter what parenting advice I get right now. I can't control my response in that moment. Like I am so angry. And so soon after that, I kind of accidentally ended up at this breathwork session. I was actually going to a drumming class, and then there wasn't many people who'd come, and someone else asked the facilitator, "Hey, what else do you do?" "Oh, I do breathwork." "Oh, what's that?" "Oh, does someone want to volunteer?" So I volunteered to kind of be the demo, and I got in touch with this anger from when my own sibling was born that I had to just kind of push down because it was such an unacceptable way to feel, towards my younger sibling. And so what was happening for me was when she had the same feeling that I had to push down, I had no alternative but to push that same feeling away because it was making me feel something that I'd suppressed for 20 odd years. And in that moment, the first thing I said was, I've already had kids and no one told me. Like I could see that I had passed down this suppression around her emotion. And I could see as well, like I mean, it was the pivotal moment for me in terms of I saw instantly, oh my gosh, I have an unconscious. I'm unconscious. I have emotions and they're just there and I'm not conscious in that moment. I'm just taken over by it. So that was amazing. But what was incredible was when I went back and it happened again, I felt authentically, I felt so much compassion for her. I literally saw her. I feel a bit teary about it. It's like 20 years ago, you know, like, wow, you feel so confused and angry about your younger brother. Like you feel all these feelings. And I had this like compassion. I just fully got it all of a sudden. And it's because I had done the work I needed to do to be able to be with her in that moment. So I always think like people say, are you into conscious parenting or you not? And to me, it's like far out. Imagine not being into it.
Fully.
Because like you would just get smashed.
Yeah.
Like you are getting smashed.
And did
I think
oh sorry.
I just think it has a bit of a negative connotation to it. Feels like a bit hippie, airy fairy to say that you're into parenting. And I totally get that. But really, it's about being more intentional about the life that you're creating with your kids. And so you will find yourself in habitual patterns. I remember I had a really easy time with my first child. And then there was just one moment where he did something and the way that I reacted, I was so taken aback because I was looking through my mum's eyes and I had sworn I'm not going to parent the way that my parents did. I'm not going to do this how my parents did. And I just didn't have I wasn't free to choose in that moment, but it scans over a whole bunch of different areas too. It's like, I even found myself in financial patterns that my parents had when I was younger. And I feel like I wasn't free to choose. It's like, I don't want to be in this. I can't believe I'm doing exactly the same thing that my parents did. Why the hell is it like this? And it's really about just making those unconscious decisions, habits, and patterns and creating more consciousness around them where you do feel more free to choose. And also it's a lot about like rupture and repair. It's not like when you become a conscious parent, you're going to be like the perfect calm parent who doesn't get anything wrong. It's got nothing to do about that. It's more like, I'm going to have a moment. I'm going to be aware of what I did and I'm going to choose to rewire it, repair it, and change it because I know that I want to do better. I want to create better for my life with my kids. Instead of blaming, that's just the way that it is. It's their problem. I was raised like that, so that's what I'm going to do. Like that's the unconscious side of society where they're like, it was my parenting. I was raised like that, so I'm going to raise my kids like that. It's a new paradigm of parenting. It's for the people who are like, no, well, it's not that I don't love my parents and I don't respect them, but I can see that they were coming out of an age where they were conditioned to be a certain way. I want to parent in a way where I raise my children up to feel connected to their truth, have positive I am statements, feel that they are thriving in life, that they're creative, that they can continue to manifest the way that kids are so incredible at. They can stay in their imagination.
That's I'm questioning everything now. It's like I feel like as you awaken out of the illusion, you start to think you're like, okay, well, what does school do? What does college do? What does do you homeschool your kids? Do you like, you know, what values do you really want to instill? You know?
Yeah.
And because I was just I went to a traditional school, went to a private school for a few years and then moved on. And I always just think like, question everything. It doesn't mean that homeschooling's right for your kids, but just think like what's going to be the best for your kid, you know? Because I know for a fact it was wrong for me because I was depressed in school. I felt so ADHD and they tried to say I had ADHD and stuff, but the truth of the matter is I just had this ball of energy that I just wanted to go out and ride dirt bikes and just like create and just do all this stuff, and I didn't have an outlet for it. Yeah. So it's like, and no one listens, you know? And I see that in a lot of kids, and some kids thrive in school because they're academically built that way and they love it. And some people love it because of the social groups, and that's cool too. But it's like everything. It's like, question it. It's not for everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's when you get into the nervous system work and as a parent, like, because if you take full self-responsibility as a parent of like, what am I creating in my life with my children? And I am a radical unschooler with my 5 kids. We travel the world, we're world schoolers. But a big part of my story also was I found school really traumatic. I hated it. Yep. There was a lot of difficulty. But I come from a family that doesn't really respect people who don't follow the traditional route. So there was a moment in time, like my aunties and uncles think that I'm insane.
Oh, they would.
For homeschool. Biggest conversation for Christmas.
Yeah.
Do your kids know their da-da-da?
Are they smart?
But that is one of those doorway moments as a parent where you get to decide, am I going to continue to do what everybody else thinks I should do because I am going to follow the habitual patterns of my life? Or am I going to be free to choose? I'm going to use my intentions to create the life that I really want to live and have the nervous system capacity to build that life without needing the validation of everyone else around you.
True.
And moving forward with what you want to create. And what I have found to be true for myself, and I see in the community all the time, is that when someone is able to make that step and live more intentionally to how they want to create their life does come to meet them. When I started my homeschooling journey, my family thought I was crazy. They thought I was insane. Now they reflect, wow, your children are so amazing. They're so this, they're so that, they're so this. But that took the courage to move forward without the backing of everybody else around me and their own habitual kind of way of relating to the world. And that was because of my breath. My breath has guided me the entire way. It's like when I feel triggered, when I feel like things aren't moving my way, what do? I don't turn to experts outside of myself. I ask myself, what is happening for me? What do I want to create more of? What are the things that are getting in the way for me? And your breath will tell you that. So that's really what the conscious part of parenting that we're trying to share with the world is like, you can really find your own expert within yourself because you know ultimately what is right for you and what's right for your family. And when you unwind these habitual ways of relating to life, you build the capacity to do the things that you really want to do.
It makes perfect sense. So I just recently found out my girlfriend's pregnant, like last week.
Oh,
yeah.
Congratulations.
But
Wow.
or 2 weeks ago actually. But so it's still very early stages. But first thing that I just on this thing is like, I was like, everyone says you shouldn't tell everyone because 3 months, you know, you could lose it. And I just thought to myself, nah, I don't believe that for a second. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go full steam ahead and tell everyone, because I was like, why would I even put that out there to the universe that it might not happen?
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm going all in. And what's interesting as a male too, I've kind of just had these big paradigm shifts in what I believe in, because I'm just like, I got to get my shit together. And you kind of like, okay, what's important and what isn't, and what's superficial and what isn't. It's just weird. Hey, it's like as soon as that starts to, there's like a man switch that almost has to switch or something. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
But,
I think that's like men are.
No, you can't live the same.
Men are pregnant at the same time, you know, like there is something that is happening for the men in a very different way. And it's a very exciting time. And I can tell you that it's not just your first child that you have these shifts and changes with. Every single child meets a different version of you. I saw this great talk by Gabor Mate, and he was saying no child has the same parents. And just reflecting over, I've had 5 kids in 11 years, and every single one of them has a different version of me. Like my first child, he had the version of us that was struggling to make week to week money. Like we were really, the family, my partner was going away to work. I was really struggling. Then to the twins that are the last ones, like we're together all the time. Their dads never worked. We travel the world. Like we have like a completely different relationship. And even though that's just money I'm talking about, you are a different parent with different finances. Because when you have lacking finance as a parent, you are profoundly stressed.
Yes.
You're triggered a lot more. You're more distracted. The parent who is more financial of ease does feel more free to choose their response and create the life one.
Imagine, we spoke about this, like, because you guys are on your own hustle, right? And if we go back to traditional, right? Because you'll get guys that are like angry that some women will choose someone with more money than not. Like if it's like, and I always think this for everything, put yourself in the position of a female that has to hold your bloodline in her stomach for 9 months, which is completely dependent back to primal. Remember, that's when you're resting, you'll be, you know, I always think evolution, like back at the tribe, and that guy's income is completely dependent upon how smooth your next few years are going to be, or life. Because there's the ones where, all right, paycheck to paycheck, I got to work too. What's for dinner? What's this? And then there's the life of, oh, we can go on a couple of holidays a year. Oh, we have a cleaner that comes. Oh, maybe if you're doing real well, you have a chef that comes and meal preps. And all of a sudden that helps blend in that tribal help. Because remember, there's probably 20 of yous working together in a tribe. There's not just one woman stressed out with 5 kids. There's like other women that can help support it, right? But in the Western world, that's unusual because we're all living in our own little houses. Looks good, looks nice and comfortable, but you don't feel too comfortable. Even if you're in your mansion, you got bloody 10 kids. But all of a sudden, finances then unlock energy and rest and freedom and also like, oh, I'd love to just disconnect and have a nanny and go to Paris for a week or something, you know, and like have that option. Because I mean, I would too. If I was in a woman's life, I'd choose that too, as if you wouldn't.
We notice a lot of people in our community is that they come in and parenting is their biggest problem. Like they're like losing it at their kid all the time. They're having a lot of difficulty in their family. Maybe their partner's not on the same boat as them. They're trying to parent and they're at conflict. And we heard so many times, like people would get through the program and we would meet with them and be like, okay, like what's happening in your life now? And they didn't even talk about parenting. They were like, oh, I really want to like create my own job. Like I want to do like this thing. And we were like, what the heck? Because we're like there to talk about parenting. And then like once the parenting issues were gone, people were focused on, well, what do I really want to create in my life? I want to do this thing. I want to go out and create this. So yeah, someone very early on said, this isn't reconnected parenting, this is reconnected being. And there is like a whole part of life that really starts to open up when you learn nervous system regulation and getting out of these habitual ways of relating to life. It expands your beliefs about everything. It's like, oh, I actually get to create what I really want.
Yeah. And getting quiet, like, is so important for that. You need to breath work, whatever your method is, breath work, meditation, laying in the sun, like whatever it is, you just need to get out. Not even laying in the sun, because I feel like there has to be consciousness, like that you have to become conscious of what you're thinking and bring your mind to one point for at least 10 minutes a day to actually start to see what's going on, truly going on. Don't you reckon? And that's why I do love breath work. I do Wim Hof stuff all the time. That really helps me. Like it really helps me just get out of my own mind for a little bit and allow like some stuff to come up. And most people we just don't. Yeah,
something interesting. I can't remember what research I'm quoting, but it just stuck in my head from a while back. It's you know, if you've heard the word attachment, it just means like the relationship. So you know, an important thing for kids is that they have a healthy attachment to their parents. So that just means to have a strong relationship with their parents. And we all need that and want that. Even when we're adults, we want to have a good relationship with our parents. You know, it's just like always there. But one of the major indicators of like a strong relationship is that the parent asks themselves, Why do I do what I do?
Mm.
And just being reflective is like a very positive relationship. Like it indicates that there's a strong relationship, and you can feel in that, like, that it means you have a strong relationship with your own self. If you can ask yourself the question, and if you can make time to just stop and get curious about how you feel, what you're thinking, what's happening for you. It sounds so basic, but I remember when I first started breathwork, probably the number one thing that people would say during the session or after the session would be something like, oh, I just needed to make the space for myself. Yeah. Because when you do, your body, your breath, exactly whatever practice you use, there's so much wisdom in
your body.
there.
Hey, it just comes up.
Yeah. But you can't, if you're never making space to listen or to be reflective or to stay with what's happening for you, you can spend your whole life just suppressing your experience, denying your experience, pushing it away. We carry so much, and we can end up holding on to so much, and it can just continues once we're adults. Otherwise, it's so simple. But
it is so simple, but it's not taught. Yeah.
And I would say, like, today, like, most people are like sympathetically activated to some degree, where they're just like busy or pressured or whatever it is, or they're carrying so much stress. Their baseline of their every day is just like already stressed. So even when they try and make space, there's a feeling of being like repelled away from even doing that, because there's like a bit of what's the word, like the idea is confronting, so we even push that away. But things go so much easier in life if we just go towards those things rather than try and avoid them.
I know, and I think people don't often ask what they truly want, even in relationships and stuff like that. Like, needs are pretty easily met. Like, if someone cares for you and supports you in a relationship, your needs are pretty much met. But people don't often ask what you want out of a relationship, or what you want out of your life, or your dream life, or your job. So I love what you guys have just talked about today about asking yourself those questions, like, how do you truly want your life lived? And I had a mentor, Jan Carton. I remember she said that to me when I was like 24. She's like, you can live life on your terms. And I went down and I wrote, like, what is my life on my terms? And I got so invigorated and so excited, because I was like, I'm going to have a house one day. I'm going to have like dogs and kids, and I'm going to live by the beach. I'm going to surf, and I'm going to eat organic food. And like, how good does it feel to write down like what you truly want out of life? And
there's a book. It's called Entering Her Vortex. And did you end up reading that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. It's like one of these books that like man passes to the next man.
Yeah, all our friends have passed it around.
Yeah, and it's so good, because basically it talks about divine feminine, divine masculine, and not like, are you going to lead with lust, or are you going to lead with divine purpose? And this is a unique thing for a man to find his divine purpose, right? And that's what we're talking about. You guys are doing yours, and we're doing ours, and it feels so good knowing what I'm meant to do on this earth every day. Like, I know. And that's such a gift. But when we talk about relationships, like women that have come through into my life, there's the North Star of, and like you said, that life you want to live, you can have it. Yeah, right. That's a scary thing. Like, what do you mean you can have it? Like, some people may get angry that you walk away from this person because they didn't meet these things. But basically, if you have that path, it's like, oh, whoever you're with will help that and multiply that, and they will want that too. And if they're not, doesn't matter how pretty, how good the sex is, how good the cooking is, all the stuff, all those things that matter. I'm writing that down on my list. You can believe that. But if they're not on the same, okay, like say, I don't want to vaccinate my kid. She wants to vaccinate the kid. you word that, oh sweet, different paths. She wants to live on property out in the middle of nowhere. I want to live on the beach. Oh, okay. There's a separate, so we can split in those early days until there's a blending of like, oh, this is the way I want my life, and someone says, oh, that's exactly how I want mine too. You can have that. I so believe that. You know? It's crazy.
For sure.
Yeah.
It all really just comes back to being fully intentional, like creating that. Being intending, like, who do I want to have in my life? I've been in a relationship for 16 years, and I can tell you that we go out and in and out and in all the time. But it is when we go away from each other, it's like, okay, what is happening for me? What am I creating unconsciously in my life that's creating this division? What do I actually want? How would I prefer it to be? I would prefer to feel closeness and on the same page and creating the same thing. My partner says to me, he's like, I meet you and then you just go and you go off. And he's just like, that's what women do. Like, you're just so on, like, I just feel like I catch up and then you're like, boom, you're on some other thing. And it takes work.
Yeah.
Like, it takes really intentional work to make it happen and to keep it together. And again, it's also like a kind of non-negotiable thing. Yeah. It's like, it's a non-negotiable.
Well, that's beautiful.
It's
that
like, it's what we're creating.
That you know that, and that's that, like, him not being afraid of being burned by your feminine burning. You know what I mean? So if a guy can stay solid amongst all that, then
you'll be a little bit afraid.
Then you'll feel safe if he's like, all right, you do your thing, I'll still be here, you know? I'll love you no matter what, right? But
it's the dance.
It's the dance, and you gotta have that dance. It's fun.
Yeah, and it can't always be like, fuck yeah, how good is this? Like, there has to be the other side where it's like, fuck, I don't know if we're gonna make it. Like, but then, you know, that's just the way it is. It's just balance, and you've got to both.
It's actually rebirthing. Like, seriously, everything has to die in order to be reborn. It happens all the time in relationship. And we've seen miracles happen in the Reconnected. Like, we've had people come in they're going to get divorced. They're like, it's irreparable. We're getting divorced. They do 21-day nervous system reset where they're breathing consciously every day, using intentions, creating what they want to call into life. And they will reach out and say, our marriage has been resolved. We're staying together. Things are different. And that is because it takes self-responsibility. It's about getting real about what are you carrying as a burden within your own nervous system that you're projecting onto your most significant people in your life. Because it's not only our kids that we project our stuff onto, it's our partners. Our partners cop all of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. So, what is happening for me? I even think about that with my partner. I've come up to moments in my life and I think, like, I'm not even angry at you the age that I am now, because if I really think about it, I'm remembering a fight that my parents had when I was this age, and I am recreating that right now. Like, I'm literally recreating that entire scenario. It looks a little bit different, but it's actually just this projection of this unhealed part of myself that is wanting to find repair, but needing to burn down the whole building before it will get there, you know?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's so fascinating. Our nervous system holds everything.
It really does.
We can just be self-reflective and
take
full
truth as well, right?
We can change our...
Like, if you... I'll tell you a quick story of my parents. So they're both gone now, but my dad was very sexual. He was a sex addict. And my mum and him were together for 25 years. They had us. And Dad wanted to sleep with other women. And I could tell Mum was a very sexual person as well, but she was very like family orientated, wanted to keep the family together. But I could just tell she's a sexual person. And they never had the conversation, hey, could we open this up or could we, because that's what broke the relationship up. But the moral of the story is, like, my dad held truth and he ended up getting throat cancer because he didn't speak his truth for so many years. And when he was 50 something, he got cancer in the throat, and he was all right. He actually survived it. But what his lesson was to speak more his truth. So he went crazy and just started speaking the truth. And God, I watched his life transform so much. But what I didn't like is like, why didn't he have the balls to tell the truth to my mum back then? Because I feel like they could have pushed through that. You say it about marriages, how they just like fall apart and stuff. I'm like, you can really do some deep fucking work if you're both willing to tell the truth of what's going on in the shadow. And I don't like the word shadow too much because it's getting used so like, you know, it sounds like this dark entity or something, but like we all have this stuff that we don't really see at the time, but we can actually talk about. And usually it's the cave you don't want to go in. It's the cave that you're way too scared to tell people. But I feel like that's the work. And I'm sure you'd see that in marriages all the time. Wait, I've been feeling this way. Oh yeah, I've been feeling that way too. Because we're more connected than we think. We feel more than we think. Hey.
Yeah, definitely. I think that for the older generations, like I have a lot of respect for people who come to breathwork and they're in their 60s or 70s or like older, because we have to remember, like, people who are of that age grew up in a time where it was legitimate that the phrase like children should be seen, not heard. You know, because there was corporal punishment in schools.
Yeah, where did that come from?
You went to school
crazy.
and you got hit. Like my dad's in his late 60s, and he just tells the story like you would go to school and the first thing you would do is you put your hands out and then you would get your smack before you even went in. You didn't even have to do anything.
You're in trouble
wrong.
before you start.
They're just and so I think the degree of suppression and like, you know, I'm just going to say like they were raised in like a lot of cruelty as well. So like to unsuppress for your own self what's true for you, I think that we can like underestimate, I think, what it would take for someone who's in an older generation with the culture that was happening back then. And it's so different now. Like my parents were like really actually very okay with my feelings. You know, my parents were like young parents and they were okay with my feelings. That was the 80s, 90s. Like in 2020, the parents today are nailing it. Like,
so much stuff.
It's changed so much in 50, 60, 70 years. And so I think it can be hard for us to relate to like the level of like have pushing of their what's true down for generations past.
Where does
you know
what's your guys say when you were talking about how your daughter pushed over your son, where does discipline come into play in your education? Like what's a form of discipline for you guys?
If you're connected with your kids, you don't need discipline in a traditional sense. You don't need smacking or punishments or rewards or consequences or star charts or stickers. Authority and leadership for parents is natural when kids feel connected to you because they receive your guidance as a positive, supportive, safe thing that they want to come around. So for example, in that situation with the pushing, all the advice I got was time out, time in, even if it's like a nice gentle parenting version, or time in, so every time she does it, like have some time with her and you know, all of these strategies. And most parenting tools are strategies placed over the top of a dysregulated disconnect between a parent and a child. And so it's only ever going to be received as a more disconnect, etc. And you know how we all like, oh, I hate my parents, she used to do this, or, you know, it's like all those feelings that you have around, you know, when you're a kid and it's just, you know, it's unfair. Like, you know, what's happening when you're being disciplined is just totally unfair. These kids are so perceptive. And so for me, when that charge was gone and I could see what was happening for her, the way that then I just authentically responded meant that she stopped.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
She didn't have to be pushing her feelings down anymore. It just went away. Like the charge wasn't there in our family nervous system. So like, you know, in the Reconnected Parenting book, we talk about a few different paradigm shifts that are about these different perspectives. So sometimes kids are literally just expressing what's going on for you internally. Other times it's like your inability to be with their difficulty means that in order to have that experience understood, they just amp it up. And then so many parents feel like today they need to like stay calm. And then when they just suppress what's happening for them, use a calm voice, try and get a script right, try and interact perfectly, kids are just like, what the, like, this is weird,
confuse them.
you know, and they, you know, so actually what we're all about is when a parent's self-connected, like knows themselves authentically, parents know what their children need. And when you can be current in the moment, not coming from all the past stuff, you just know how to stop it. It's like, you know what your kids need and you manage it, and your children do naturally want to come along with you. And I mean, for me, I have two kids who are very strong-willed, like turbo, like yeah, I can't even I have two other kids who are super easygoing. That's why I know it's not all me. And there's like for them, you know, they require like a degree of authenticity and a degree of connection. They're calling for a degree of connection that means you just really have to dig deep. But even the most strongest willed child will want your approval, will want to be connected to you, will want to be like, it's not the right word, but it's not in a suppressive way, but like they want for you to be connected to them. So they behave in ways that they know are right. And if you can hold that kind of compass and be authentically within yourself, it's just like a natural thing that happens. I think this idea of discipline actually comes from just a whole lot of disconnect. Remember, and like coming out of a culture that like disciplined kids hit the hands with sticks before on their way into school. Like, you know, we have to like decondition ourselves out of a lot of ideas around kids being like bad, naughty, willfully naughty, needing teaching even, because it's like when kids are connected,
fully,
they're just like it's just not really even a conversation. Doesn't mean they don't need guidance. Doesn't mean they don't need for you to say, hey, you know, come with me, like whatever it is. It's just that parents know what to do. So we really steer clear of like scripts or when they do this, you should say this, da 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 da, because all that does is just take a parent away from their own body's instinctual response in that moment. And I think if you can just do your own work so that the response that's coming in that moment, you trust it and you feel safe with it, and it's like you know yourself, then it's just a different way of relating, and it's so much more relaxing, and it takes the pressure off. It's like there's no getting it right.
You're
not going to get it right all the time. There's no like script.
What's the answer to this?
One script. But that's what most parenting advice is. So discipline, like Dr. Daniel Siegel says this so well. He says, remember that the word discipline is rooted in the word disciple.
Yeah.
You know, so it's there's that leadership, natural authority that happens when a child is securely attached to their parent. And that secure attachment comes when parents do ask themselves, why do I do what I do? Why is this a no? Should I really say no? Why am I saying no about this? Okay, yeah, like actually I don't have a problem with this. I just think my kids are not allowed to do that. Or from the past, or like, why should they, just all of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a massive mirror, every single kid.
How do you guys with your partners? Are you still with your husband, are you? Yep. And how, because obviously you were getting into this side of things and maybe they weren't into it at all. I'm not sure, a lot of guys, it's not the top of the radar. How have you witnessed them, say, doing something that you feel like is non-ideal and then voicing that to your partner in front of your child or not in front of your child, or what you know what I mean? What advice do you have for that? Like, I guess
I would say that's one of the top number one like issues that parents have in the Reconnected community is like difference of opinion around parenting. For me, interesting that my husband, who's not my kid's biological dad, he's their stepdad, but he's been around since they were very young. So he's into Vipassana, which is really different from breathwork, actually. And we have this saying in breathwork, like, people have to come to it themselves. Like, you can't make someone do any type of work that they're not authentically ready to do. It's just not how it works. But what we've seen time and time again, it's been interesting in my own family, because my husband at the moment is like obsessed with breath work and is like, now if the plumber comes over to do some plumbing, I have to leave the room because I know within 5 minutes he's going to be unpacking some type of like emotional issue with the plumber and telling him all about the like thing. And I mean, Daz tends to say like, he reckons he would have come around if I had have said, just do some breath work. But I know like it's a real readiness thing. And his advice to fathers is just trust your wife and go along with it. Go along with it. Just do a breathe. Just do a thing. But I think honestly, the way that it tends to track for families, but this is a bit of a generalization, is it is often the women who come more to this work at the Reconnected first. And then even in situations where there's a bit of conflict around like the different parenting style or this perception of permissiveness or maybe mum's having like an issue with the way they're like, maybe their dad is like angry or like frustrated and he's not looking at his own stuff or whatever, and she's upset with the way he's interacting with the kids or something along those lines. That's usually like a pretty common scenario. What happens is just through doing her own work over time, and it's not instant, like this might take 6 months, 12 months, but there is a ripple effect that happens. And the power of one person doing the work, everyone in the family does benefit. And Emma, do you remember this story from someone, this 21-day nervous system research has gone, where the woman was saying it was after the breathwork session and she went back out into the kitchen and the same old type of dynamic was happening between the dad and the kids. But she went in and for the first time, she herself was not upset or aggravated or annoyed at him or whatever. She genuinely could feel like, he's not putting his hand up for it. And this is his stuff, and this is how the kids are having to deal with it. And I am actually okay. And that had taken a long time to get to that point. And she was able to just inject some humor, and actually the whole moment just transformed. Because we really talk to people a lot about, like, how does it feel when someone says to you, you've got to, that's your issue. You've got to do some work on that. you're like the whole point and the whole reason why this family's dysfunctional. I'm doing the work. You're this. It's like, it feels like shit, as if you're going to, as if you're going to be like, oh yeah, can I please join you in your breathwork session with all your women friends? It's like, but when if we can take responsibility for our charge, like we really encourage radical responsibility. Of course, there's parameters around that, around with safety and stuff, but like, if you can really lean like a bit further in, like, okay, so what's happening for me when that is going down in my family? Okay, this is what comes up for me. How would I prefer even that to go? Like, it's amazing the next layer that can come in for a family. And then tends to happen is either the man, the husband, the partner who's not into it, either is completely supportive of the women doing their breath work and just makes the space for it to happen, watches the kids, happy to pay, like, yes, you need to do the breath work. They feel the benefit. They're not ready to do the work, but they're very supportive of the work happening. Or eventually they do come around, and we do have a lot of partners in the Reconnected that are like gradually coming in.
That's cool.
It's
but we try not to like make it a thing where it's like, we really believe like kids only need one person who sees them. We can't take responsibility for or force someone else to do the work. And like, watch your attitude towards other people and don't step into like superiority in this area, because if someone is not able to confront something within themselves or not ready, then that shows like a real vulnerability that, you know, that if they could be doing the work, they just would be, and we can't assume to know what people are carrying.
Totally.
It's like a different, like we talk about in dating culture now, like I feel like breakups are in the season. Like I feel like every second person is breaking up with each other. I reflect on most of the women I know with children and they're not with their dad anymore. Like most, if not 80% of the ones I can't even think of one I can think of one, right? Because it's just like there's so many options now, you know. It's an illusion, right? You know, you get someone that DMs you and you think you got all these options all the time, but that's so unfulfilling. But we were speaking about how it's so hard for the single mother to embody the masculine and the feminine, and you wonder how that impacts the child's development, because what you'll just about always they'll turn into their masculine energy because that's survival. So if it's one or the other, back to nature, I'm always using evolution. You got to get going your masculine to live, right? It's nice to be all nurturing, but food's got to get paid, bills got to get food's got to get hunted, in another way of saying that. But also like when you see the balance of how I spoke about this story recently, how my friend's kid was over and he didn't want to go on the electric scooter. My mate was going to take him for a lap around the block on the electric scooter, and the kid was like about to start crying. No. And I was thinking, if the nurturing mum was here, she'd be like, oh, don't worry, darling, come here. And then my mate picked his kid up, put him on the back and said, start riding, like to my other friend. Anyway, the kid came back, was just so happy, like, oh, I love that, wanted to keep doing it, but needed that masculine nudge to say, nah, you'll be right, deal with this. I know you'll enjoy it. You're a boy, you know? But could have just not done that and could have did you ever watch South Park?
Oh man, the voice. One of my younger friends' brothers did, and just as soon as you say that, like the voice.
Yeah, well, Cartman like just owns his mum, right? He's got the single mum, and he just like, mum, you know, just feeds him and like, and like that's an archetype of that single mum that's just been walked over by a child, and I see it so much. I was at the beach recently, and this woman, she doesn't have a father, and she's with the kids, and just sort of they're like just walking all over her, and she doesn't have the oi, you know, that grabs their attention and pulls them into line a little bit. And it's not threatening, but it's like that depth in the voice. It's like, no, we don't do that, you know? And they were just sort of like, I'm like, oh, she just looks stressed, like they're doing whatever they want, throwing sand. She's like, don't do that. And they do it. And then there's no, what do we even call it? Discipline. But there's nothing after that. They just go, I can do it. What's she going to do, you know? And they're the one, like when they get older, they're the eshays. They're the ones walking.
I think it just explains so much about like the dysregulation that's happening in the world. We're under more pressure than we've ever been.
For sure.
We're even under technology pressure. Like our nervous systems are fried. Like every single one of us, we're getting into bed at the end of the day. We're still on our phone. We're like wired into something. We've got so many opinions, so much going on. Like there's financial pressure, societal pressure, everything. So really, if someone can just like do the work on working with their nervous system and really having it at the helm, we say that a lot. Like Eleanor and I are only where we're at because we have had our nervous system regulation at the top priority list. It's like when I have a moment, I'm doing something in order to create the life I want to live. I'm doing a breathwork session. I'm doing something. And if we can do that, then I think we'll see the culture change. It's like, I feel that there's such a nuance in relationship, and I can completely understand why some women just give up on it all. And some men as well, but it's like, what can we create for people where they are free to choose the reality that they want to create? Like, yeah, that's really
amazing. That's empowering, and I love what you guys are doing. So awesome.
So
thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah,
no worries.
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Our listeners, because even like, say if we've got a 21-year-old boy that's like, oh, I'm going to listen to a podcast about parenting. I'm like, lad, just listen to it and you'll get some bit of gold that will come out in your consciousness in 10 years from now when you're ready to have them.
Seriously, I want to say, like, because my kids are aged now, well, my youngest is 17, but my elder kids are 21, 20, 21, 23.
Wow.
About to turn 23. 24. I have an elder stepdaughter who's like 24, about to turn 25.
Wow.
And like, I just think the next generation of young adults, like they are like practically enlightened compared to me at that age. Like they're self-aware, they're self-connected. They're I would say they're a bit disillusioned with what's happening in the world, but I think it means they're questioning things. Why do I do what I do? Why is the world like this? Like at way younger age than what we were. Because of just like the collective turmoil that
well,
so
I think there's
happening.
There's more of a polarity now, because obviously they've raised with your consciousness, right? But there's also a lot of young parents out there that are just so off the path, and you can see it in their children, right? The kids are struggling to learn, everything like that. The food's horrible. They're just fed sugar. They can't concentrate. Like there's that polarity. So it just means like those children are going to stand out way more in the future than the ones that have not been raised ideally. Hey?
Did you guys hear that McDonald's in America is going free range meat now? Did you see that yet?
Grass fed.
Really?
Grass fed. 200.
How do they free range that many animals?
Oh, I got no idea.
What is
just grass fed?
Grass fed. Yeah, not free range.
Yeah.
Grass fed. Okay, but still.
So probably pumped with antibiotics and all that shit. Yeah. But I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, I think they're putting 200 million towards regenerative farming practices.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is, it is a step in the right direction, which is huge.
It's just crazy that McDonald's is doing that. I only found this out this morning, so I was just like, you know, America. That's like a huge step for like in the right. Like that's just going to raise the consciousness massively.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people live off that.
Show what the consumer is like
caring about.
What people are requiring, how real it is or not is up for grabs, but you know, it shows like what's important to people, and also that corporations are having to follow the dollars. In terms of like people are voting with their dollars these days.
So I'll support McDonald's by getting a double quarter pounder after this.
No way.
Unlikely, but
I have to go.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for your time. Guys. And just quickly, where do people contact you? Where do they buy your stuff?
All that stuff.
www.thereconnected.com. We're on Instagram at @the_reconnected. We have our own app. You'll be able to click the link in our bio and come into our community, and there's a free space where you can get all of the information that we share. And we also have our published by Hay House Random Penguin
cool.
Random.
Cool.
And it will be in all major retailers. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all the things. So you can find the best one for you. Cool. And that's really got everything that we speak about as well, like perspective shifts and stuff. So epic book.
Beautiful. Reconnected parenting for people listening.
Yes.
Because I can't see. But yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for your time. Love you guys. Love what you do. Catch you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
You too.